And welcome everyone to the Riverside County Board Brief as we give you a brief look at what took place during today's Riverside County Board of Supervisors meeting. My name is Pep Fernandez. Today's episode being filmed from just outside the Riverside County Board of Supervisors chambers, but we still had plenty going on during today's meeting. We start with Department of Public Social Services Director Charity Douglas talking more about the 2022 Child Abuse Prevention Community Needs Assessment. It's a great way to hear back from the folks that live in our community and see what their needs are, see where we can improve. Here's Charity Douglas talking more about what this assessment means.
To conduct a countywide needs assessment, to inquire and hear the voice of the community, and to hear from them in terms of what the services are, the most needed services to impact child abuse and to prevent child abuse. The 5 services that were identified countywide were substance abuse, mental health services, parenting education, and what we call body ownership, that's good touch, bad touch, and domestic violence.
Joining us here on the board brief is Charity Douglas, the DPSS Director. And Charity, today you went in front of the board talking about the Community Needs Assessment.
Yes.
First off, explain what that is, and also in relation, how does that connect to child abuse prevention?
Yes, well, thank you. So the Community Needs Assessment is a really important assessment. It helps us to understand from the community's perspective what are the most effective and needed services to prevent child abuse in their communities.
And then today in front of the board, is this something that you annually do? Is this something that it can be used for a positive and something you want to make sure the Board of Supervisors are just aware that this is going on?
I think the awareness is the most important part, ensuring the awareness that assists us in understanding how things may change from year to year in the communities. We do this assessment on a 5-year basis, and we partner with the university this year, or last year I should say, we partner with the University of California, Davis, to assist us in assuring that it's a neutral assessment and we really get to hear the voice. This included parents, it included youth, it included community providers to really help us understand what is happening in each community.
So at the end of the day, this is a great tool to make sure that you guys are better serving the community. Is that correct?
Absolutely. And what it helps us to do is to access resources through the Office of Child Abuse and Prevention. That's through the state. It helps us to access those resources to develop contracts to serve the individualized needs of the community.
And thank you for that interview, Charity. Also on today's agenda, there was an item that had to do with the county's emergency response. Dan Bates, who you'll hear from in just a moment, he is the EMS Administrator, and he had a chance to talk more about telemedicine and how that will help you get the services you need in an emergency. And now join us here on the Riverside County Board Brief. This is Dan Bates. He is the EMS Administrator. And Dan, during today's Board of Supervisors meeting, there was an approval for telemedicine. First off, maybe explain what that is to folks and how is this going to better serve our community, what was passed today?
Sure, absolutely. Great question. So telemedicine is just an opportunity for us to connect individuals with the right resources without necessarily taking them to an acute care hospital for services. So it gives us the ability to connect somebody from the comfort of their own home with a board certified physician and get the effective and safe and appropriate treatment for their illness.
And this could, alleviate maybe some pressure they feel in the emergency room, or maybe resources available. I mean, in the big picture, how will this better serve everyone?
Absolutely, great question. So we've seen it over a number of years is the continued occurrence of ambulance patient offload delays. And what we're seeing is a lot of lower acuity 911 calls that are going to the hospital, and ultimately these ambulances are waiting on the wall at the hospital to seek treatment. This is an ability for us to link those individuals with sustainable healthcare services to better serve the community by connecting them with urgent cares, primary care physicians, where they can get sustainable long-term healthcare needs served.
And finally, here on the Riverside County Board Brief, we did have one presentation. Let's go to some video from earlier today inside the board chambers, and it was a presentation on Hispanic Heritage Month brought forward by Supervisor Karen Spiegel. We had several members from the Riverside Latino Network in attendance as well to receive this proclamation, and they spoke more about what Hispanic Heritage Month means to them and how Latinos have helped shape Riverside County.
Well, September, this is the time where a lot of Latin American countries celebrate their independence. And so those traditions have transferred to the United States. And so this is the time when we celebrate that, but also our time here and our contributions to the United States as well.
This is Latino Riverside Latino Network's 30-year anniversary is this year, 2023. So we're very excited and honored to serve the Riverside community. And we're grateful and thankful for all the supervisors who are here today recognizing us.
If I could just add, the Latino population is an integral part of the tapestry of America. And we are a group that works hard and diligently to try to put on meaningful programs.
Well, that's going to do it for this episode of the Riverside County Board Brief. My name is Pep Fernandez, and we'll see you next time.